Then, embracing new habits.
Embracing, what does embracing mean? We really mean wiring the new habit through repetition. Again, when I bring up the brain, our behaviors, which then become habits when repeated over time, are just outcomes of chemical reactions. And those chemical reactions are going on in the body, orchestrated by the brain. And what
Hmm.
we're really saying is through repetition, the neural connections in here get stronger. And when the stronger the things get, the more they become the default path that your brain will choose in a particular situation, bearing in mind that the core job of the brain is to keep you alive. So it will look for what it thinks helps you survive. This is where we get into the idea of what is safe and what is not safe in the according to the brain. According to the brain, what is safe is just what is familiar, and what is unsafe is what is not familiar, which means if the new habit you're bringing is not familiar to the brain sees it as danger and will fight it. And
Hmm.
so it becomes difficult to do that change. And this is where the very first thing I would suggest to people when it comes to embracing or cultivating a new, I
New
think
habit.
cultivating is a good word, cultivating a new habit is make it a choice. Because when you say, I have to do this, I need to do this, I must do this, I should do this, your brain thinks that something is being done to you. And when you think something is being done to you, that's a threat perception, which will trigger what we call a stress response. And a stress
Hmm.
response will come as fight or flight or freeze. So that inactivity, you just can't do it. That's a freeze response. Flee, you're trying to avoid it. That's a flight response. Or fight, you're arguing with yourself and still not doing anything. That's a fight response right there. So, but when you replace it, I would usually ask people write out those words: must, need to, have to, should, then cancel
Hmm.
them all out and put a different word called choose or choose to. Because when you say, I choose to do this, then your brain is seeing it as, okay, you're in your place of autonomy. Your brain wants you
Yes.
to remain in a place of autonomy because
Hmm.
that's where survival happens. And then, so you say, I choose to do this way because, and then, of course, you then come up with why you want that. And the more that reason connects with whatever the other positive intention is, the better it is. So here's an example. You know, the case of a part of me wants, a part of me doesn't want. Okay, let's say, right, random example, someone doesn't like tidying their room, and a part of them wants them to tidy the room, a part of them doesn't want them to tidy the room. And then we say, okay, well, that part of you that wants to tidy the room, why does it want you to tidy the room? So that the room is everywhere is clean and nice, and
Hmm.
you feel good when you're in the room, and you feel good about your room. Okay, what about the part of you that doesn't want to do it? Why? What is it doing for you through that? Well, by not doing it, I'm not stressing, I'm not doing work, I'm relaxing. And what does that give you? I feel good. Now it comes to the same reason.
Yeah.
The both parts wants you to feel good. Now, it becomes a case of, all right, well, since both parts have the same good intention, the same positive intention, how can they work together? How can the
Yeah.
part of me that wants me to not be stressed out, what can it teach the other part such that that part will do the work without being stressed out? And what can the other part teach this part about the work such that this part feels good about doing the work? So it's sort
Yeah.
of negotiating with your parts based on the intention. So if the new habit I want to cultivate is going to the gym, and my why is because I want to be healthy. But the reason I've not been going to the gym is because I'm out of shape, and I feel like if I go there, there'll be people who are all in shape and I'll feel less about
Yeah.
myself. Um, well, so not going there saves me from that pain of feeling less myself or than myself. And if I'm not feeling that pain, what else am I feeling? I'm feeling good and safe. So again, it's the same positive intention there. So it becomes a case of me saying to myself, well, this is the new habit I'm choosing because I want to be in a good shape and feel healthy. So that
Yeah.
whenever I get to the gym, no matter who is there, I continue to feel good about myself. I'll make good friends, blah, 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 blah. So now you're connecting deeper intentions with what you're trying to do, and you're making it a choice. That's number one. Number two, to
Hmm.
cultivate new habits, create your best case scenario and also create your nightmare. What will not doing anything
Yes.
result in? So if
Result
you were
in.
to continue the way you are now, what would your life be like? So get to the nightmare, to the bit that's really scares you into action, as it were. And then look at the opposite of it. If you changed, what would that give you? Now, you're in doing that, you're talking the language of this part of the brain, which doesn't speak spoken language. It's about feelings and emotions. And this is, as we said, this is where the activity happens. So when that part of the brain now knows that there's something scary that it will need to protect you from if you continued living the way you're doing, it starts to support your move to where you're choosing, because that's where safety now is.
Yes.
And by repeating that behavior, and you're going to repeat it mentally in your mind anyway, and repeat it, I will say to people, repeat what it feels like. So it's not about goals. The goals are intangible, as it were.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's let the goal be the outcome of your behavior, as it were. And so to go to the gym, what does that mean? I need to register, find a gym, register with one. Is it going to be close by or not? What other activities can happen? Is it a gym that's close to where I shop or not? And things like that. Um, would I need a personal trainer, or would I need to download a training app or training video or something like that? There are some tangible little actions that will get you to
Yes.
the goal you want. And those are things you want to focus about, yeah, on. It should really be about your behaviors, because as you keep doing those behaviors, you start building a habit. And to do those, you can also think about them a lot, visualize them a lot, make it clear. See, bombard your limbic brain with stimulus about what you want to achieve and how it feels, such that that part of your brain works for you. It's almost like you're hacking your brain to work for you. The brain is
Yes.
not very logical. The brain is safety driven. And so
Mm.
you make a choice, you make it clear, you rehearse it mentally, you break it down into the actual actions and steps that it will need to get you there, and you focus on those. And when you're doing that, you're immediately actually, you've started reinforcing that neural pathway that would
Yes.
then start to become a default choice for
Yeah.
your brain to
Yeah.
make as regards that new habit that you want.
Well.
And the final point on that would be get some accountability bodies. If the more tough or significant that habit is, the more it will help to get some other people who can hold you accountable for it. People who can say to you from time to time things like, "Oh, how are you doing today?" or something like that. Really, because sometimes we can go, "You know what? Okay, I've had enough today." But just that person that you're going to speak to over the weekend, and you have to tell them how it's been all
Be a
week, should
motivation
also
to.
be, yeah, a little bit of kick here. I mean, you're my accountability buddy when it comes to certain things, as you know, and look how far we've come with that. So it's this sort of thing that helps. And the final point I'll add to that really is just be kind to yourself as you
I
go
knew
on
you
that
were
new
going to say that. I knew you were
yeah.
going to say that.
Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
The brain, one of the things that helps thriving is the concept of dopamine and dopamine hits that come from time to time. And when you say well done to yourself, even by the littlest, tiniest part of the task, you get a dopamine hit, which increases your motivation in that direction as
Wow.
well.